and we'll have it feature. Okay, so we're holding the third chapter of the Navi, my friends. We're holding the third chapter of Navi. And what's going to happen in today's class, we're going to learn them finally getting ready to go to battle and enter Eretz Yisrael, right? Finally, after all this time, Moshe took them out of Split the Sea and gave them the Torah, and they're finally going to start moving, as we're going to see in today's class. But there's going to be a number of episodes that take place before they actually get into Israel. Let's see what happens. Yeshua woke up in the morning. Vayisu mehashitim, and he leaves the city, the town of Shittim. Remember, the Jews were stationed on the eastern side of the Jordan River. That's where Moses left them. That's where he passed away. That's where he got them to. God said, you cannot enter. You're not going to bring them into Israel. Vayisu mehashitim, and he left the city of Shittim. Vayavoyu ad hayarden, and he came till the border of the Jordan River. So they weren't, I guess, camping at the Jordan River. They had to travel from a place called Shittim. Maybe it was close by. It seems like it wasn't a far travel. They got everybody moved, and they took the whole Jewish people, the 3 million Jews, whatever many Jews there were there, and they traveled right up to the Jordan River. Yisrael, and they lodged there. They're now staying over there until they're going to cross over this river. They got to get over the river somehow. You got to get into Israel. You got to get over the river. And it was after 3 days, which means they waited there for 3 days. Okay, so they're 3 days waiting to cross. The policemen, the officers start passing between the army, between the people that are there. And he gives them the battle plan. This is what's going to take place for the first step of the battle, for the first step of the movement. And they command the people saying, guys, look out. You will see the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark. Of your God. You'll watch the Kohanim who come from the tribe of Levi carrying the Ark. You guys start to travel. And you should walk after the ark. So this is the signal. How do we know to move? Very easy. You look and you see if the Ark of the Covenant is moving, and that means that you right away follow along. Now, Rashi tells us this is different from Moshe's times and Moshe's days. This is different. What's the difference from how they traveled to Moshe's days? For those that join me in the class of Moshe, you'll understand clearly different, but I'll go over it quickly. You know, they traveled 3 million Jews. They each had a flag representing their tribe. Each 3 tribes had another flag, another group of people, how they travel. At least, and we learned there's 2 ways, there's 2 actually opinions of exactly how they travel. We're just going to talk about one of them today. The formation of the 1st battalion, meaning the 3 tribes, I believe it was Yehuda, was in the front, and that whole group of Jews traveled. That was to the north, or whatever the tribe was, that area. Then the 2nd battalion of 3 tribes traveled, and then the ark traveled, at least according to one opinion here, and then the other 2 battalions traveled. So actually, Jews traveled first, and then the ark traveled. Now we did, in my head is going on different opinions, different things we learned, but I'm just going to stick with what Rashi says over here. And the pillar of the cloud would lead the way. The cloud, how would they know where to go? Because they follow the cloud. So the cloud traveled, the 2 battalions traveled, and then the ark traveled, and then the next 2 battalions of the Jews traveled. But that's not taking place over here. The ark is going ahead. Different system. Not Moses leading the Jewish people anymore. The ark is going to lead, and everyone will just simply follow the ark wherever the ark goes. And the ark is going to be at the border at the Jordan River, and everybody follows the ark. Now, another interesting point I have to tell you what Rashi says. He calls the Kohanim Levites. So he says the Kohanim who are Levim, which one are they? He says that there's going to be either 28 times or 42 times, something like that, which would be 48 times or whatever it is that you call Kohanim Levim. Why? Because Kohanim come from the tribe of Levi. That's where they're from. Kohanim don't have another tribe. One of the 12, one of the tribes is the tribe of Levi. And Kohanim come from that tribe. Just an explanation on why in the verse he calls them Kohanim who are Levim. Are they Kohanim or Levim? Well, Kohanim really are Levim, because they come from the tribe of Levi. However, although you're following the ark, don't get too close. You should leave a distance. Don't run over. You want to see the paparazzi, whatever, will run over to the ark. Don't get too close. Stay away from it. Between beinechem, between you, uveinav, and between them. Okay, we have a problem here. And Brad, this is what I was pointing out to you before. Well, I'll show you a difference between how it's written and how it's read. It says, don't get too close between you guys and between them. And it's written, that's how you read it. The way it's written is, and between it. So what's the difference if I say the correct word is them, or the correct word is it? Them means there's two. What do you mean? I thought there's one ark. Why are you saying don't get too close to them? So it would make more sense to say don't get too close to it, stay far away from it. What does it mean don't get close to them? It's a very interesting Rashi here bringing the interpretation, is that there was something else other than the tablets, the ark of tablets there. And he says, what was that thing that we don't want you going too close to? What is next to the tablets? And Rashi says there was another thing they were carrying. What were they carrying? They were carrying Yosef's body out from Egypt. Right when he left, Yosef said, I died here. The Egyptians are not going to let me leave. They don't let people who are the royalty in the kingdom leave Egypt. But when you leave, Hashem will allow you to go. Take me with you. So they carried the whole way through the desert. And now going into Israel, they're carrying Yosef's body together with them, who's buried right in Shechem. You could go visit where they ended up burying him in Shechem. But they carried Yosef's body. So there's two things there. And Yosef, out of respect for Yosef, they put him next to the Torah to show that he was a great man who always followed the Torah. So they have the Ark of Testimony in Yosef's body traveling, and Joshua tells them, follow it, but don't get too close to it. How much space should you leave? Kalpayim Amma, leave 2,000 cubits. Why 2,000 cubits specifically? Who chose that amount? Very interesting reason. How far is a Jew allowed to travel on Shabbos? 2,000 amos, only 2,000 amos. Now, Jews like to go to pray near the ark, and there will be Shabbos during their travels as they make their way into Israel. There will, interestingly, come the day of Shabbos. And Jewish people will want to not just daven in the shul, which in those days was the tablets. They couldn't just travel there when they went to pray. They wanted to pray to Hashem. They also on Shabbos wanted to pray. But on Shabbos, if it's more than 2,000 cubits away, they're not allowed to leave their town 2,000 cubits into public area. So don't get too close, but we're going to keep about 2,000 amos so that you're able to go and daven there on Shabbos. So you can get close to it. But why do you need to follow it? Because you don't know the way. But to know where to go. Because you have not traveled this way yesterday. Therefore, Yeshua has a whole group of people. Like if you're in an army battalion, you got to give some kind of method for the people that are following along to know where to go. So therefore, tablets are going ahead, and you need to follow. Keep a distance about 2,000 amos, a little bit less, so you could go there on Shabbos, but don't go too close. But follow it close enough that you could follow. You know where to go, and you're able to daven there on Shabbos. So Joshua says to the people, "Iskachu, sanctify yourselves. That everybody should sanctify themselves, because tomorrow there's gonna be miracles. When you cross the Jordan River, just wait and see, guys. In our class, we will see the unbelievable miracles that will take place that you might not have heard of, because many of us know the stories of the Torah, but unfortunately don't know the stories of Tanakh. So there'll be tremendous miracles that Moses did tell them will happen, by the way. Those who were in the Chumash class and that day, Moses already told them this was going to happen. You'll see about it in the next few days. Now, Rashi gives us the sum up here of the history. Moses passed away on the 7th of Adar. They mourned for 30 days. They mourned for Moshe. So they sat there and they mourned for Moshe in this place of Shittim, which they were leaving from. And then they leave there, and they wait in the next place for 3 days. So they travel right after Moses, the mourning period finishes. They allow the Jews 30 days to mourn Moses. And the 30th day was the day that they traveled to the border, to the Jordan River, and they're waiting there for 3 days now. And they're telling them to get ready. And Yeshua now turns to the Kohanim and gives them directions, because the Kohanim are going to be the one who usually carried the ark. The Levites are the ones that carried the ark. But for this experience, for the miracle that's going to take place, the Levites have to give over the ark to the actual Kohanim, because something major is going to happen. And he says, tomorrow, when we're going to have this miracle take place, I need you Levites to hand over the ark to the Kohanim. So Yeshua tells the Kohanim, you take over carrying the ark, and you go in front of the people, and they carried it, and they went, and the Kohanim went with the ark in front, leading the Jewish people, showing them where to go, and they traveled. Last verse we're going to do for today, I believe. So God says to Joshua, this day, right now, that next day after the 3 days of waiting, when they're going over, I will make you great for all the eyes of Israel, because Moses split the sea, dropped the mun down. He was the man. Yeshua didn't do anything that yet so significant. So God tells Yeshua right now, I'm going to make you great. And the whole people will know that just as I was with Moshe, I will be together with you. One more verse, actually. And you, Yeshua, command the Kohanim, the carriers of the ark of testimony. Lamar saying, when you come up right up to the tip of the waters of the Jordan River, stand in the Jordan, go into the Jordan and stand in there when you enter its edge, and you'll wait there. And Rashi says, for how long you're going to wait there? You're going to wait for all the Jewish people to cross through miraculously, as we will see in tomorrow's class. And that is the end of today's section of Navi.